Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay our respect to our teacher, Pinnath Loku Swamin Wahanse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, hope you're all having a wonderful time. So today, before we start the whole teaching, let's go through the sutta very quickly. I will share the screen for you. Can you all, one by one, voluntarily start the Noble Eightfold Path to read this teaching, so then we can talk from right livelihood to onwards. Okay.
And what is the noble truth of the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering?
It is simply this Noble Eightfold Path, that is right view, right thought, right speech, right intention, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right immersion.
And what is right view? Knowing about suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and a practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. This is called right view.
And what is right thought? Thoughts of renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. This is called right thought.
And what is the right speech? It's refraining from lying, derisive speech, harsh speech, and talk nonsense. That is called right speech.
And what is right action? Refraining from killing living creatures, stealing, sexual misconduct. This is called right action.
And what is right livelihood? It's when a noble disciple gives up wrong livelihood and earns a living by right livelihood. This is called right livelihood.
And what is right effort? It's when a mendicant generates enthusiasm, tries, make an effort, exerts the mind, and strives so that bad, unskillful qualities don't arise.
They generate enthusiasm, try, make an effort, exert the mind, and strive so that bad, unskillful qualities that have arisen are given up. They generate enthusiasm, try, make an effort, exert the mind, and strive so that skillful qualities arise.
They generate enthusiasm, try and make an effort, exert the mind, and strive so that skillful qualities that have arisen and remain are not lost, but increased, mature, and are completed by development, which is called right effort.
And what is right mindfulness? It is when mendicant meditates by observing an aspect of the body, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of conventions and displeasure for the world.
They meditate observing an aspect of feelings, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of covetousness and displeasure for the world.
They meditate observing an aspect of the mind, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of covetousness and displeasure for the world.
They meditate observing an aspect of principles, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of covetousness and displeasure for the world. This is called right mindfulness.
And what is right immersion? It's when a mendicant, quiet, secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unskillful qualities, enters and remains in the first absorption, which has the rapture and bliss born of seclusion, while placing the mind and keeping it connected.
As a place in the mind and keeping it connected, and still they enter and remain in the second absorption, which has a rapture and bliss born of immersion, with internal clarity and mind at one, without placing the mind and keeping it connected.
And with the fading away of rapture, they enter and remain in the third absorption, where they meditate with equanimity, mindful and aware, personally experiencing the bliss of which the noble ones declare equanimous and mindful, one meditates in bliss.
With the giving up of pleasure and pain and the disappearance of former happiness and sadness, they enter and remain in the fourth absorption, without pleasure or pain, with pure equanimity and mindfulness. This is called right immersion.
Right, and this is called noble truth of the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. And also they meditate observing as aspect of principles internally, externally, and both. So likewise, the common thing hereafter in every meditation. So okay, let's get back to that. Okay, so Noble Eightfold Path, or the path which lead to cessation of suffering. That's what we are learning here. So if anyone comes for the first time or do not have any exposure to this, do not worry, you can learn today, and we have recording as a playlist, and you can go through it whenever you get a chance, and we are making a PDF for you to go through sutta by sutta. And then in future, if you have any questions, even in the community group, you can ask that question as a reply, so then we can discuss on that. So this is a place where everyone comes together and learn. So this is we have a very good community here, so feel free to join with us. And if it is kind of difficult for you to understand in the beginning, don't worry. So little by little we can improve our knowledge on this. So no pressure, and do not worry if you couldn't understand. So we have like breaks in between. You can ask questions and you can clarify things. And yes, we are learning deep teaching, but gradually. So according to the Buddha, Buddha says this teaching, Buddha's teachings are like ocean. Ocean does not start with the huge depth or the heap. It gradually the depth get bigger and bigger. So likewise, in the beginning, so if even a child can come and play in the shore and enjoy the sea, so likewise these teachings, so up to our level we can practice, and while practicing it improves our insight, or the we call the wisdom. So because of that wisdom we can easily understand these things. So it will take time, because it's like this. So if you couldn't understand anything, you don't need to worry, because if you can remember, at the preschool, at the elementary school, we do not learn about Newton's laws and so, but those are existing, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to learn it in future. But no one just starting from Newton's law at the like middle school or high school, if they do not have enough understanding about how to write or the other skills which they have developed in the elementary schools also. So it's like we need to learn and improve our knowledge. So that's what I want to say in the very beginning. So this path, the first factor or the fall is this Noble Eightfold Path, right view. So right view is not just some sort of a view, like this is my point of view, this is that his person's point of view, or this is Buddha's point of view. Right view means that seeing the reality, so the say accept that seeing the characteristics of this existence as it is. When we understand in the right view, there are different ways to understand this right view, but in here we learn that understanding suffering as suffering, which means that in this world without this knowledge or wisdom, people see like the happiness and the unhappiness in this world, like, and they are seeking to experience the happiness in here in this life. So but when we improve our knowledge, we understand one thing, that this life itself has sufferings. So birth is a suffering, not just the pain what we are having when we just breathe in, first breathing in this world as a human, not that, but when we born to this world, which means that we are having 6 sense faculties: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. Those are not the way we born. So those are like rising and falling, and those are impermanent. So if there is something impermanent and not according to someone's wish or will, so that means we have to accept what it sends. So then it's like taking care of something which does not obey us. So it's like the life. That's why it calls it suffering. So when we should have, it's like, it's not like just the intellectual knowledge. It should be understanding. Understanding mean you should have that clear understanding about that, and in the same time you should have open mind, like you should have a kind of a openness others to ask questions from you. Like if someone disagree with you, they should able to come and ask questions from you. No, I do not believe this life, that the birth is a suffering. And then, because even doesn't matter 1,000 questions after, if he sees the reality, then there is the right view. So that right view is not just a point of view, it's like seeing the reality. And then he should understand the cause for the suffering. Cause is the ego, or the craving. So that where, or the attachment, whatever we say, that we learn 3 ways of ego, those are the reason create sufferings. And when there is no ego, it does not have suffering, and that's what we are going to attain. That is the enlightenment. So enlightenment is not a degree what we get in a university or so. It's a kind of a inner thing we need to experience within ourselves. And then path to cessation of suffering. So you should understand this is the exact path to cessation of suffering. So as an example, if you earn 2 doctorates, that's the way to that's the path to have a better life, and it's not the path to cessation of suffering. Okay, if you start a business, that's a path to earn money, and it's not the path to cessation of suffering. So while you are doing all those things, you need to know one thing. Okay, whatever the things I do in this conditioned world, since everything are conditioned, not according to wish or will, it changes and it creates sufferings. So when you have that understanding as a understanding, so that's where the real confidence or the faith arises towards Buddha. Why so? When you see how it's like this. Until we see an escape from in this world, we want to overcome from all those problems. When we see this whole world is a suffering, then we need to escape from whole suffering. When we really want to escape from whole suffering, Buddha is the only answer, because he's not like is like a savior also. He teach, see the world this way, then you do not will you won't suffer. You will experience the enlightenment. So that's where the real faith arises towards the Buddha. So that faith, that confidence never change again under any circumstances. And so it's not like this, okay? So I think that sometimes in this world there are wars arising because of the religions. So I think that someone come and break a Buddha statue. At that time, if you are someone who has the right view, you do not get angry. You see the impermanence. If you get angry, you see it, our anger rises, and it is not me or mine or myself, I shouldn't represent it. That's where you can find the difference between this teaching. So as an example, there is a monk in Australia. Actually, there was a kind of that sort of a conflict in the world some sort of a time. And then a journalist came to see him and asked a good question. Okay, so you are talking about peace and harmony. Okay, think that someone take your holy book related to Buddhism, and then put it to the commode and flush it, then what you're gonna do to that person? Then that Bhante, the monk said, okay, hold on a second. First thing I will do is I will call to a plumber because that wood can't go through the commode. So you understand the point, right? So anger shouldn't come in those things even, because anger is the what we need to eradicate, because anger rises where? When we do not accept what already has happened. So that's so likewise. So right view should be the and it's not our point of view. If our point of view is there, that means our point of view means what we have already attached. So when someone disagree with that, we may feel upset or suffer. So with the right view rises right intentions. We learned in detail last class. So that intention of the opposite of sensual pleasures and opposite of anger, opposite of harming. So when you have right understanding in this world, there is no attachment to happen. Like if you can remember the cake analogy, we learned that if someone gives you a delicious cake and that's what you want to eat and that's what you love a lot, when you eat it, if someone try to take it, you will get angry. But if someone in the same time someone check the badge numbers and say, oh, this is already revoked and asked to return because this contaminated with kind of a poison, so do not eat, and this company asked to return this. At that very moment onwards, you are not ready to eat it. If someone try to put it into your mouth, you will strongly reject because you feel the danger. So likewise, when you have full understanding about the whole thing about the conditioned world, you do not have attachments. So it creates the thought patterns opposite of attachment. And when you do not have attachment, you do not get angry, because there is no even a single thing you can get angry without you have attached. Wherever you get angry, there is a kind of attachment, what you like to, there is your attached expectation. And when you do not have anger, you do not want to harm to someone. So that's why the end of the harming, that the cruelty ends. So because of that right intention, then right view and right intention help to have right words, like right speech, which means that you do not want to lie, you don't want to create divisive talk or say something the others behind their back, and you do not want to use harsh words, and you have no time to talk about nonsense. So that's where the end of the wrong words and right speech arises. So if someone having all those things, their actions are also righteous. They do not want to kill others, they do not want to steal from others, and they do not want to cheat or do something like this, because gradually their lust is reducing and they see the inner peace and happiness built in within them. So when they have, because if you are super happy and fulfilled, you do not seek happiness from outer world. That's the nature. And your livelihood, your earnings also never create regret in you. So that's the right livelihood. We covered up to that. Okay, this is where we are going to exactly start today class. I will give you 2 minutes to ask questions. Okay, Bhante, I do not agree with you. Okay, come and ask questions. Yeah, you can't agree. Well, I couldn't agree more.
Bhante, I have a question.
Hi, Tina.
So I just want to go back to the right view. You said to understand right view clearly and to see the reality of situations. Maybe you didn't say in those words, but I'm kind of changing it into my words. So remove ego. I didn't understand that part where you say, when you said the ego creates suffering. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, so as an example, so that sufferings are, because what we say sufferings, so there are that the surface suffering, right? That we can break down sufferings into three things. Dukkha, dukkata, that itself, it creates itself suffering. So if someone comes and punch you, you will feel the pain and it creates suffering. There are suffering, it itself feels suffering. There is another set of suffering, viparinama dukkha, that suffering never shows at that very moment. It takes some time to show it's a suffering. It's an example, think that you received a gift, you received a dog in this Christmas as a gift. You start to love him a lot, and dog also start to love him, but unfortunately dog's lifespan is like 14 years. So after 14 years, dog will die. At that very moment, it creates huge suffering, grieving, and pain. But when was the first time it started?
With the present.
Yeah,
when
with the present. At that time, if someone say, "Hey, it's suffering," we are not ready to believe it. Actually, sometimes we may disagree, and sometimes we may get angry. If you can't take care of a dog, just shut up. That's all. Likewise. So, but once we have attached, so it takes some time to show suffering. So likewise, there are things in the world, it takes some time to show suffering, but it's self-suffering. The third thing is sankhara dukkhata. Whatever the conditioned thing has this nature of suffering. Why it? Conditioned means it's like all the buildings what we are in now are there because of the foundation. So likewise, every conditioned thing means literally everything other than the enlightenment or the nibbana. When those conditions are part we can control, but there is a part we can't control. So because of that, when those reasons are no longer there, it will collapse. So likewise, every conditioned thing has this nature of suffering. So to whom it feels suffer and to whom it does not feel suffer. Think that there is Arahant. Arahant also eat like us, walk like us, live life like us. So what is the difference? They are not attached to anything. So they do not feel suffering. So they see the nature and they see the beauty of the world, like the beauty of the impermanence actually. And so if you smile, then they will politely smile. If you angry and if you throw some bad words, they still politely smile because that's the nature, nothing to attach to, or nothing to worry.
Bhante, what did you say the first one was? So suffering have three types. What was the first one? Dukkha.
Dukkha, which means that it itself shows suffering. These three words in the Anguttara Nikaya first sutta, Tikka Nipata, that means that first book, there are like number 3 part.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante. I understand now. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Now, so Samma Vayama, or the right effort. Right effort means there are 4 things in the right effort. I don't know. Oh, we have learned it sometimes ago, but we can we can recall it and we can improve our understanding on that. So in this, when we see the right view, when we improve the right view, there are things arising in our mind with attached, without attached. So with attached, so attachments has like 3 ways. We have that attachment or that clinging or that ego represent sometimes as lust. Sometimes that same ego represent as anger. Third thing, sometimes that ego represent as delusion. Like delusion means that lead to that ego. Like ego means, I mean, that conceit, that false pride, and the fear, those things. Okay, so that things, all those things, and whatever the defilements arising with that, we say the unwholesome things. And in the same time, when we practice the mindfulness, when we practice effort, when we practice shraddha, or when we practice wisdom, there are things arising in our mind, those also conditioned, but it lead to the understanding. So then we need to remove that unwholesome things. We need to cultivate wholesome things. So this right effort means the first effort is whenever any defilements ongoing in your mind, you need to remove it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, now think that you have removed that, but you need to refrain and protect your mind not to put yourself back into that unwholesome level. That's the second effort. First removing, second one is like refraining and control, keep that control. Third effort is cultivating good qualities, wholesome qualities which you have not cultivated yet. So, as an example, think that you learn the teachings and you have not practiced generosity well. I mean, in generosity, when you see a homeless person, you may offer $1 or penny or something, but it's good. But in there, your commitment to let go the stinginess is very few, because you are just doing it just to feel that that righteous feeling, but other than that, you are not ready to let go. Think that after some time, you want to overcome from that stinginess which arising and hurt in you. And for that purpose, with strong mind, you start to let go your things, like think that you are offering something to someone. So in there, when you offer that, in the first place, you may feel like physically you are losing something in your heart. You may feel like some sort of a pain. You don't feel that same pain when you buy something for yourself, but when you buy something for someone else, you may feel it. There are some group of people, they feel that pain even when they buy something to themselves. So that means their stinginess is so high. So they keep the whole money in the bank. They also do not use it, just dying. So no use of it. Then their children will take care of it. If not, the government will take care of it. So that means they are no. So there is a word for that. Is that we say the cadre in Sinhala? I don't know how to say it in English. There must be a word for that. It's like more stingy. How much you are not ready to support yourself even. Then second level, like you are ready to support yourself, but you are not ready to support others. Then you are letting go that also. And there will be a time once you let go that feeling, you feel happy when someone asking, for sure. Like, because it feels you some like it gives you a amazing feeling to help others, because it's like you are not separating yourself from the others. You are like part of them even. You feel that sort of a confidence. So you are happy to help wholeheartedly. So when you are someone like that, so you feel happy when others progress in their life. You do not feel that competition like others does. So basically you are a happy person. How much? So if you can remember, I think most of you when you get a chance, you may offer food to Bhantes. You know what is dana. When you prepare a delicious food and offering it to Bhantes, you do not want to say, someone does not want to come and say, hey, smile. Literally, you smile at that very moment. You feel amazing, kind of your face is so fresh at that moment. So Bhantes used to see the bowl while you're offering, but sometimes we feel, oh, I should take a look of that view, how pretty that person when they're offering. That much of prettiness arises in their face. So that happiness will be with you forever, because that happiness lose when that unwholesome things arise in you. But when you let go that things, you have that super happiness in you. So that the third thing is bringing or cultivating good wholesome things in your heart. So that the fourth thing is, after cultivating any wholesome thing, you need to improve it to the meditative level. Meditative level means that the physical level, like you're physically doing that, physically or verbally or wordly action, and then you address the root of that, and that means in mind. So when you practice a wholesome quality in your mind, it lead to that, the concentration or the samadhi, that fulfillment. That means that those are the reason you to experience that immersion or the samma samadhi. So that's what samma vayama or the right effort does. For the first effort, to let go the unwholesome things, you need to cultivate. That's what we do, like thinking the danger of the thought patterns, like think that you get angry. Instead of being angry, you think, oh, this is an angry thought, this is not good for me, not good for others, not good for both, and this lead to suffering, and I'm letting go. So like thinking the danger of that. And there are other things. So think that after you let go of defilements, then you need to protect your sense faculties. We call it indriya samvara, or the controlling sense faculties. That means when you see, when you open your eyes and see the world, you have inbuilt mindfulness. What to look, what not to look, what to listen, what not to listen, what shouldn't I listen, what in your nose, even tongue, even body, even mind. It's like you have a inbuilt security. Think that it's like, think that there is a neighborhood with so much of danger, and then they turn it to a gated community. So likewise, you are if your sense faculties are the houses, now you are gated community, and your mindfulness is the one who's doing the security. It has a code. So whatever the sense comes, it should has that right code. Right code always be the right only that right code is with the only wholesome qualities. Right. That's the second one. For third thing means that just cultivating. Fourth thing is meditating. So those are the right effort. Right mindfulness. So nothing to talk about right mindfulness. That's what we are doing this whole 6 months. Right mindfulness means being mindful on the body, being mindful the feelings, being mindful in the mind, and being mindful in the mind phenomena. If someone say, I don't understand that, I should give a punch to my head, because we are learning that for 6 months. Right. Then what is right samadhi, or the right immersion? So it is something, it has a depth. So I think we may need to do it in another class, because it has a depth, like you need to understand how it works and what are those 4 stages. And not only that 4 stages, that's the form meditation, and there are formless meditation, so formless concentration, with form concentration, formless concentration. We learned this some times ago, but we can relearn those things. Okay, those are the things. So basically, when we practice first 7, this first 7 help for the 8th one. 8 is it's the path. It's this whole thing we can say path, and that samadhi, or the 4th, the 8th fold or 8 factor, we can literally say the path, because that's where you are starting to cut off the roots which are in your mind. Why we can't cut it like the just in here, like, okay, I will let go the anger, because we need to go to the see where it root, like where is it. So for that, we need a super concentration. That concentration with the wisdom help us to cut that root. If not, it's like this. Think that lawnmower cut the grass in the top, but it does not end it does not like remove the grass for forever. Why? Roots are there. So to add for that, we need to do something to the roots. Likewise, meditation, that heal, the super concentration help us to see our defilements are which are hanging deep down, deep within ourselves. So that's where we need to cut and remove it, and that's how the enlightenment happens in the noble person's life. Okay, up to that, is there any questions to ask? Oh, you can put it to chat, even doesn't matter.
I did have a question. Earlier on, you had mentioned the 3 ways of the ego. Did I hear that correctly?
Correct, JC.
Are you able to tell me what those 3 are?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Jesse, here's the answer for that. We say 3 ways of tanha, like, and it says kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. That means ego for the sensual things, like craving or the attachment. Then ego for the not for the sensual things, but for the form. We can say like to sustainability of these 5 aggregates. And there is another ego, which means that ego to reject what you are experiencing. I'll try to teach it like in this way. Think that sensual pleasure world is like dream, like a dream. That means, as an example, we know dreams are dreams because we are awake. If there is no way to awake, we do not know dreams are dreams, because in the dreams we feel it's like a reality. So likewise, what we are experiencing in this moment also kind of a dream. So when we awake with the wisdom, which means when we improve our insight on this, while in this dream, we can understand we are in a dream. In a dream means, as an example, so there are the things which can create pleasure and craving in our mind. There are beautiful things to see. There are beautiful sounds to hear. There are beautiful scents to incense, and then there are beautiful, delicious food to taste, and there are some sort of a pleasurable, tangible body feelings. With that, we create individually a story in our head. So the way we used to love it, based on our family or the family experiences, based on our culture, based on other influences, and based on our karma. As an example, think that there is a soccer match and Canada and America playing. All the Canadians who are here, if you think that we all love to watch soccer, we'll praise and cheer to the Canadian team, and while Americans praising and cheering to the American team. So at the end of the match, think that if America wins, Canadian will be upset. Americans will be so happy about that. But they all saw the same match, but 2 different feelings. How that 2 different feelings arises? Because one group believed that this team represent Canada, we are Canadian. One group believed that we are Americans and this team represent America. So like our point of views and our attachments are different, and because of that we all have individually our sensual world in our mind. So based on the things what we all can experience, we have our own story in our head. So that's why I think that when someone see their mom, they go and say, "Hey mom, how are you doing?" But our dad does not say mom to our mom while he also see the same person, but he says my wife. So likewise, different feelings arises in our different the way we used to attach. It's like it's if you do need further clarification, please go through the previous teachings. And then we have attachment with these thought patterns. We have attachments in our head, like the sensual world. So that's we have craving to that. That's where the grieving or those things happens. Like we love, those people die, we feel pain. And when someone address that and overcome from that, think that they are attaining to the meditative level, like what we are going to learn next week, that deeper meditation, then it has a huge happiness and inner peace. It's like can't explain one who has not, who do not have that experience. It's like, as an example, according to the Buddha, it's like this: someone in a jail and he get a chance to escape, he get the freedom from the jail. So then that person does not really want to go back and be in the jail, because even jail gives free food and everything. It's a jail. So likewise, now we also in a kind of a jail compared to that meditative level. We don't feel it because our jail boundaries are like fence is so big, like we have a big world to live. So, but when you understand that, when you experience that super concentration and happiness, inner samadhi, inner peace, then our mind attached to that even. So we need knowledge, insight to not to attach that. That's the second level. And then when someone understands these sufferings, the problems and the chaos in the world, they just want to reject that. So rejecting also lead to suffering. Like that means that one pleasure, kama tanha means that the ego for the pleasurable things, bhava tanha means that ego to the sustainability or to continue this what you're experiencing, inner peace. Third thing is rejecting. So rejecting also a reason to, it's also craving, it's a and it also creates suffering. As an example, think that if there is a kind of a ongoing thought arising in you and you do not like, think that you have done something wrong in the past and it keep on popping in your head. If it is keep on popping in your head, sometimes you try, instead of understanding, okay, I did something and I understand it, and it's not, no need to keep on thinking it. It was previous me and it is not this me. Without in understanding your betterment, you keep on thinking on that. So then what will happen when it comes to your mind? You try to reject that. So when you try to reject, that is the reason to keep it popping again and again. It's an example thing that if I ask you to, okay, forget an apple, then what will happen? There wasn't any apple throughout the class, but suddenly apple comes to your mind. So likewise, when you try to reject something, it keep on popping. Like it's like suppressing also create the attachment and it leads suffering. So I just gave you a basic analogy for that. When you learn the teachings, you can understand. So there are three types of egos: kama tanha, ego for the sensual things; bhava tanha, ego for the sustainability of these five aggregates; ego for the vibhava tanha, ego to like eliminate these five aggregates. Does that make
Thank
sense?
you. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just right.
Bante, I have a question.
Yeah, Linda.
Tina.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
It's okay. Number 5, right effort.
Yeah.
You mentioned you started off with unwholesome or defilements. If any defilement arise, the first step is remove it. Was that number 1?
Yes.
And go ahead, sorry.
Okay. In there it says like this. Uppannam papakanam akusalanam dhammanam. Oh, sorry. Okay. No, it says that. Okay. Let's go to sutta again. Bhikkave bhikkhu anuppannan. Okay. First is Tina. Thank you for bringing it up. First one is Ida Bhikkave Bhikkhu. Oh, it's not highlighting. Hold on a second. Okay. First one is this Ida Bhikkave Bhikkhu Anuppannanam Papakanam Akusalanam Dhammanam Anuppadaya. So I said the second one first. So first one is, that means that the whatever the things does not have arised, not to arise it. Chandan Janeti. So first Chandan Janeti means that first creating that willingness and then putting effort, Vayamati, and then Viryang Arabati means that improves your effort, and then Chittam Pagganhati Padahati, that means you are stabilizing your mind, you are creating a strong mind not to put yourself into that. This is what in the effort there is a one Sanyukta, or the group of set of sutta. In there we can find that this is what we say the Indriya Samvara. Tina, have you heard a word called Indriya Samvara?
I don't think so, Bhante.
Indriya Samvara means, Tina, that there is a way to control 6 sense faculties. That means, like, can you remember that gated community?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we basically like controlling 6 sense faculties in that way.
So guarding your sense faculties.
Right. So if arises any defilements, then you need to remove it.
Okay.
Like to remove that. So there are okay. Bhante Paviveka did Vitakka Santana Sutta recently, right? If I'm correct?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, so Vitakka Santana means that removing the, when Bodhisattva, before Buddha attaining the Buddhahood, when he's practicing, there were some thoughts arising in his head. So those are unwholesome. So he says, think about its danger and use the other ways to eradicate that. So that's the second one. So the third and fourth are correct. Anuppannanam kusalanam dhammanam. This one. And that means that which the wholesome things have not arised yet, letting it arise. And then after it arises, uppannanam kusalanam dhammanam titya. Titya means to continue that, sustain it. Asammosaya bhiyobhaya, not to like lose it and progress it. Vepulaya bhavanaya paripurya. That means that energizing and power, giving it that to like make it like huge in the mind, and then completion through the meditation. For that, Chandan Janeti, creating willingness, and then Vayamati, putting effort, and Viryang Arabhati, it's like the next step, and then creating a strong mind. So that's what we do. And for this, we will do that. So one day, it's like the practicing the Bojjhango. So there is a nice sutta on that. We can draw that. So thank you for Tina bringing that today.
Okay, Bhante, I have one more quick thing. So
before you start, Bhante, the first one, it's more like to prevent it, right? So something is prevention, and then the second one, we abandoned it.
Right.
Abandon. The third one, we cultivate, and the fourth one is we develop it.
Right. Yeah, those are the right words.
Okay, Bhante, you started off with the right effort. You said unwholesome things like, or defilements. You mentioned fear, delusion. That includes, like, delusion is someone who doesn't see things or see things that are actually not real, right?
Yeah.
So like people like with mental health would have like delusion and fear and worry. Like those are defilements that someone should try to try really hard to try to remove those defilements, and then cultivate wholesome things in their, or wholesome thoughts in their mind, and then continue on that path to develop those wholesome things. So first trying to remove it, try really, or put a lot of effort in to remove it. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm not
first
saying
thing,
it
no,
correctly.
actually, first thing is to understand this is a
Understand.
defilement, and yeah, so it's basically whatever the defilement, it has its own thought pattern. So label your present thought pattern, whether it's a wholesome or unwholesome, label it with the right name.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today, we learned about the Noble Eightfold Paths for first 7 factors. So we accumulated many merits, good karma, good blessings to our lives. So let's share all the blessings, good karma, with the divinely powers and with our private guardians. And if there are any deities who would like to rejoice the great merits we are accumulating, may they be well, may they be happy, may their good wishes come true, and may they all able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's share all these blessings with all of your past relatives. May they rejoice the blessings you accumulated today, and may they able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's share all the blessings, good karma with our teacher. We respectfully say, Pinvat, Loku, Swamin Mahansa, and all the monastic monks who live all around the world. May Bhantes be well and happy. May Bhantes able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautam Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's share all the good karma, good blessings with our wonderful volunteers and all the participants who are coming and to learn meditations and teachings. May you all be well and happy. May your all good wishes come true, and may you all able to overcome from all the mental and physical sufferings. And may you all able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.